like, customers are afraid walking in and out of doors. Or even if you're not afraid, you're just, like, maybe even just annoyed. And it shouldn't necessarily have to be like that. And so if you're a business owner, you want people feeling comfortable in your parking lot. You want them feeling comfortable shopping in your establishment. So I understand that. Right? We're turning fountains on to your park benches because we don't want...
Welcome to Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 on the Stansbury Show here on Rock 106.9. If you missed yesterday's program, I'm sorry, I threw the rundown out. I don't remember a damn thing we discussed. But the podcast is posted there. You know what I do have? I have a research tool in front of me here. It's WRQK.com is our website, right? So I tell you that only 9 million times a day because the boss wants his web. So I should have that one down here. Let me see podcast. Oh yeah, the Cavs won game 1. Oh yeah, dude, a California mayor wants to pass out all the fentanyl homeless people want. We got into that yesterday, and I was like, look, man, that can be like the answer when you and I are at the bar. Hey, what do we do about homelessness? Pass out the drugs. Let's see what happens. That can be the answer when we're screwing around. Back patio, having some drinks. But, like, lawmakers can't just throw their arms up in the air and be like, all right, that's it, suck it, out of ideas. Let's just start mowing people down. Like, I can't. I thought that story, by the way, yesterday when we got into that. I was convinced what was going to happen what had happened, that's what I should say, is that the mayor had texted somebody, whether it be an assistant, the sheriff, whoever, but was, like, having a conversation. And then that got leaked, or somebody had screenshot, but no. This was like a town hall meeting. One of the constituents stood up and said, this mayor wants to round up all of our homeless people and put them in one encampment. Which I think a lot of people heard that idea and went, what's wrong with that idea, right? And so, but that woman had accused him of that. He then stands up. Says, no, my idea is actually more severe than that. I would like to be passing out all the fentanyl all the homeless people would like. Like, geez, dude. Like, I expected it to be the screenshot got out. The text message got out of the lab. Whatever the thing was, I never imagined homie was just going to stand there and be like, this is my idea. I think it's really good, and I think we need to start doing it right now. That is not a good idea. That is throwing your hands up and saying, I am out of ideas. That's what that is. And so we did get into that yesterday. Your Guardians do take care of the Yankees last night, 6-4, that at Progressive Field. They're now a half game out of the Central League. They are 13-9 on the year, and they will get the Yankees again tonight. That at 6-10, and then a day game tomorrow. I'll be in attendance. 110 for that one. Go Guards. Looking forward to that. Hate the Yankees. Can't stand them, right? Your NBA games last night, and Detroit 100 over the Knicks 94. Clippers then win 105 over Denver 102. Cavaliers not playing again until tomorrow night. Game 2. That at Rocket Arena. So you'll have the Guards at Progressive and you'll have the Cavs at Rocket tomorrow. Going to be a busy day downtown Cleveland. I believe it is Milwaukee and Indianapolis tonight, and Memphis and OKC are your games this evening. Again, we'll get Cavaliers game 2, that at Rocket Arena versus the Heat tomorrow. I look for the Heat to be a little bit more competitive. I don't know if they'll win tomorrow night, but I kept saying, and Scott and I talked about it over the weekend. Scott from waitingfornextyear.com, he was on the program yesterday, too. That's in your podcast. But we had texted about it over the weekend and right before the game. It's like, man, the Heat got pushed to overtime. And then you have a travel day in between. And then you got to come play a really, really good Cavaliers team, man. Like, really good, right? And so that's a little bit of a buzzsaw. And I kind of felt like that for the Heat. I was like, oh, let's see what you get here. And so I'm interested to see if they respond, if they rebound a little bit, and they put a little bit more of a competitive effort out on the floor tomorrow night. Now, that game got a little tight the fourth quarter, but early on, I mean, I was in the building. Early on, it just kind of had the rhythm, and it just kind of had the feel like, oh, no, this is the Cavs night. Like, they just had, the shots are going in for everybody. Evan Mobley shooting threes. You know what I mean? Jared Allen's getting every rebound. I mean, they were just playing great. And it felt early in the first quarter, it's like, I don't care what the scoreboard tells me, they just have their game. They're just that much better. And deeper, I think the Miami Heat. Might be a little bit of a different story against the Boston Celtics, but we have to wait to get there, so let's not start panicking. Before we do. On today's program, we're going to have to talk about not one, but two different rappers. Kanye West, yesterday, released some information. I don't think anybody was shocked by it, because that's the thing about Kanye. No matter what that guy tells you, good,
Drive northeast, then turn right on to Davis Street Northwest.
bad, indifferent, whatever it is, nothing can really shock you from Kanye, because that's what he is known for. And so anything that comes out of that guy's mouth, you're like, all right, let's see what we get with Kanye here, right? Well, what's Ye up to now? Well, it turns out he's now admitting to an incestuous relationship with a family member. That's what incestuous would mean. And with a cousin. He showed this younger cousin pornographic material and then committed sexual acts upon this person. So we'll get into Kanye's admissions. We'll try to tackle that at 9 o'clock. Then, all of a sudden, I'm trying to go to bed last night. I'm like, let me take one more look. Let me see what we have earmarked for tomorrow. And I had the Kanye thing pulled up. And then I scroll down. Related articles. Apparently, Tech9 yesterday had come out and had told everybody, yeah, man, I had some things happen in my life that weren't great. I had been victimized by the hands of somebody I knew, somebody close, and sure enough, and you know where I'm going to go with this. I will never, and I mean never, ever, ever, ever be shocked that people in the entertainment industry suffered childhood trauma. We all did, baby. Every last one of us, man.
The Stansberry Show, a first-class, bona-fide, made-in-America screw-up on Rock 106.9.
Kind of funny you can listen to him on your smart speaker.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
The Stansberry Show.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
On Rock 106.9.
9 a.m. Go fund yourself, grab that first $1,000 keyword. Monday through Friday, we do those 9 to 5. It's every hour there. Do the first today at 9. Also, take a look at Kanye. We might have to open that Kanye door before 9 a.m. though. I said this morning already that it's the thing about that guy, man, like nothing's ever really shocking because everything's kind of shocking. We'll get to it. Also, Shannon Sharp. Jeez, that yesterday. I saw that. I was like, okay, well, yeah, we'll clearly get into that. Tony Busby, you may remember that name, the lawyer there, representing the women facing those lawsuits of facing Deshaun Watson, has now filed on behalf of the woman accusing Shannon Sharp of raping her on more than one occasion. Now, she does say that the relationship at one point started out consensual and turned into something else, which, yes, is totally possible. I say that because I remember growing up and hearing it. You know, men, I don't know if men were joking or not, I would hope, but like you would hear like men kind of make the joke that you can't rape your wife. And it's like, well, yeah, you can, right? And so like, again, I don't know if I was young and people were joking around. I don't know about that. But like I'm sure there's some idiot somewhere who thinks that, well, they were in a relationship with one another, right? Like a woman's not allowed to say no to a woman, or a man, sorry, that she's in a relationship. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to it. We'll unpack it. We'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock. I always say, it's not always up to me what we talk about, and at 7 o'clock we'll prove that. I would have never chosen this. But it was local, and it is newsworthy. A 19-year-old, I guess woman is what we'll call her when you commit an act like this, assaulted an 11-year-old repeatedly. We'll get into it. That at 7 o'clock here on this news. All right, so yesterday one of the big topics of conversation would have been the Pope passing away, and it will still be a topic of conversation for us today, tomorrow, the rest of the week, probably a little while longer. I'm not Catholic, and I'm not a deeply religious person, and I'm not a churchgoer and the like. But I said, this is a different figure here. And especially then you want to extend that conversation. We did more than a few times yesterday by saying there are people who are not religious or Catholic who did respect him, and more than a few of my listeners who I know to be non-religious. As a matter of fact, full-blown atheists who believe he did represent what they believe he represented a lot of what the church didn't, that would maybe been part of the reason they got turned away from the church. That the church does a big, good job of saying one thing and then actually being another, and welcome to people versus institution, and, so we got into that. I said that I have met, when you start talking about music, I've met all the celebrities I care. There are bigger stars that you'd be like, dude, you didn't get to talk to them, that I'd be like, yeah, but I don't care. Like,
Good morning.
And Ozzy did freeze me. There's been a couple of times where I was like, picking up Alice Cooper from
Just out doing some gig work before I gotta go to my actual job.
Like, I cannot believe this dude. This dude was on my wall, man. Like, that blew my mind, right? Like, there have been moments where it's like, I can't believe what's happening. And I said, if you offered me a conversation with most famous people, I'd take it. The Pope felt like this is almost disrespectful for me to take your time for how in demand your time is. And people hold sick children outside of gates with this guy at the beach just in the hopes that he walks by you. And so for me to be like, so what's it like running around with glass box, dude? Right? Like, that's, I know, you know what I mean? It just feels like, let me stay out of the way on it. But I may have taken myself or the situation maybe, I guess, a little too seriously. There's a piece of merchandise that is going to hit the auction. Somebody has, and I would imagine more than one person, but this man has the Pope's recently deceased. He has his autograph. They tell me it's going to hit the auction. And when I just hear that, I'm like, okay, so this is one of those Kurt Cobain sweaters from MTV Unplugged is going to sell for $1 million, right? It's like one of those. I was like, okay, I guess I can get it. It feels, now, I should tell you this, that the autograph is on a baseball. Apparently there's a guy who does this. This is like his thing. It's going up for sale through RR auction, double R auction, I guess is what that would be. But it's Randy Kaplan, who was a government affairs specialist in New York. He apparently got this baseball signed by the Pope after I guess a trip to the area, right? He's been collecting, he does this, he's been collecting these from world leaders and heads of state since 1996. Apparently Randy kicks off his entire collection with a Bill Clinton sign. That's what got him underway. Like, yeah, all right, Bill. Now that I can kind of get. America's pastime, here it is, the president, you know what I mean? Here we go, we got signed, this is the most American thing of all time, man. I got a president's signature on a baseball, right? Like, that's like having 4th of July in your hand. So, like, I understood that. The Pope feels like, yo, homie, sign this? I don't know about that one. Am I giving, what is it with me? I'm not even Catholic. What is it with me and the Pope? I don't know about this. So this guy's got about, I don't know, 450, 500 of them. And if you should happen to win the bid on this, you will also get Randy's, I guess he had some correspondence with the Vatican officials. You know, like, hey, here's how we're going to get him in and out. Here's what we're going to, and so you will get all of that. And I mean, I can't do that. There is zero chance I asked the Pope for his autograph. I would too. I would absolutely want to. In that moment, I can be bold. And I can be confrontational even if I want to. I don't normally want to start out confrontational. But if you make it that way, I'm like, oh, do I get to be a dick? I'm like, oh, well, this will be fun, right? Like, I like that. Like, I'm into that. I sometimes enjoy making situations even more awkward. You know, I have definitely leaned into the gas pedal a couple of times, like, all right, so we've lost everybody. All right, let's go full-blown Andy Kaufman. See how bad we can make it, right? I've done that. I can be bold. There's zero chance I'm standing there asking the Pope for his autograph. They say, by the way, this ball, guess where it's going to start financially? $15,000. I'm sorry, dude, but sweaters from Where Were You Last Night by Kurt Cobain going for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I can buy a baseball signed by the Pope with money I have in my checking account right now?
The Stansberry Show.
Yeah, but listen, for every 100 angry calls we get, there is somebody that I help.
On Rock 1069.
8 o'clock? Shannon Sharp? This ain't great. And it got brought up on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN where Shannon Sharp now works. Yeah. They got stuff going on over there, man. Now FS1 did too a little while back with Joy Taylor. Man, what's up with these sports broadcasting places? I guess what's up with these human beings? If you're unaware, Shannon Sharp now will be, if I was in charge, been charged from what I understand. Charges have been filed. Yeah, sorry. A little bit of a multitasking issue there, reading and speaking at the same time. My bad. Whoops, won't do that again. Yes, sir. Anyway. He's not been charged with raping the same woman multiple times. He's released a statement. We'll get into it. That at 8 o'clock, Shannon Sharp. Also, 9 o'clock, go fund your stuff. And we'll get you that $1,000 keeper. Okay, I have said, I have some conflicting views. This was brought to my attention just the other night, right? I had said, while talking about, pets and animals, I said, I'm an animal person. And somebody said to me, no, you're not. You just like dogs. What do you mean? I said, I've never kicked a cat in my life. My mom had a cat once upon a time. I liked the cat as much. No, this is what I mean. You'll eat an animal. But you just like dogs and you like the pet. That doesn't make you an animal. Oh, I thought it did. What I found is it made the other person in the conversation insufferable. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I have said about the animals that I'm okay if you want to eat one. I'm okay if you want to have one live in your home. And I'm okay if you want to go out to a mountainside and try to take one off that mountainside. But I have said that if you should go into that mountainside and the animal takes you out, I don't know how much sympathy I'm going to have. Like, if my wife knows your wife, I'm going to the funeral. You know what I mean? Like, yes, obviously. I gotta put the best foot forward. Otherwise, we're that household, can't have it. So I get that. You know what I mean? But in my mind, when she tells me the story, like, so what happened to Billy? Billy went out there, right? Not enough deer urine poured down the front of the chest and they smelled him, huh? What happened? Did they rip him limb from limb? Is there video? Right, like, I'm gonna want to know. And there's gonna be a little bit of me that thinks, that didn't happen to me. You know why? Because I didn't go out there. And it's just kind of how, right? Like, you're in the environment at that point. It's like a shark attack. Hard for that shark to attack me on Fulton. Real hard, man. Like, real hard. I'm the dominant force there, right? And so I don't necessarily, you go into those environments and these things can have its nature. It does not respect you, and you must respect it. There it is. I mention it because apparently I'm not wrong. In a new study, this was published just last week, I guess, Carolina, and she lives down there now. And we talk every once in a great while, like not even a whole lot. But just the other day, she sent me some video of her and her friend walking around, and they were like, look at how big these gators are. Like, dude, that thing you don't understand how fast that thing is. It can snatch you right out of there. But what they wanted to know, Mark Teixeira, actually, here's what he says, not the baseball player. He says, I wondered if crocodilians had an unwarranted reputation for attacks the same way snakes do. That the lead author, Mark Teixeira, the lead author of the study and biology professor, he's at Center College. Quote, it was important to create a ranking system for risky human behaviors because it would show the overwhelming majority of the bites stemmed from some level of humans engaging in behavior in places where alligators live. Now, I would imagine this is going to be a little bit true, right? How often do you and I talk about the idiot who goes to the national park and wanted to selfie with the bison and got trampled to death? Like this whole, you're experiencing everything from the world via the screen has created this false sense of safety that people think they have when they actually go out. There's these things have been happening. So it cannot, first of all, there was literally a guy called the Crocodile Hunter. Like there are these people who will engage in risky behaviors. We know this. He said, they don't believe the scientists that you should call those attacks because you kind of engage, like you kind of created the situation. Now, that kind of sounds like, like you're running cover for Big Gator, right? But to create the system, the ranking system, what they did is they dug into the CrocBite database. Again, did not know that was a thing yesterday, and neither did you. But they sifted through all the records. All right, let me see what we got here. Human-alligator interactions. This went back, this database does, to 1734, man. All the way, I guess the data they stopped looking at around 2021. They then analyzed those records, went and pulled out some news reports, some investigation work from the police departments as well, and then wildlife agencies, obviously, because you're dealing with an animal. And they wanted to figure out what's the level of human behavior risk. Was it low, moderate, high, or none at all? They believe that most bites and attacks followed a moderate risk behavior, like swimming or wading in waters with known alligator inhabitants. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but if we know water has alligators in it, like in Louisiana, and dude, those people go swimming that stuff down. It's nuts. I'm sorry. How are we calling that a moderate risk behavior? Like those swamp people, those shows, those guys would literally watch crocodiles swim by the canoe and then go get in the water. Like it's like, so that's not moderate. That is a high human risk behavior, right? Or am I an idiot? Or I guess not idiot. I guess sissy would be the thing. And here's this. I will tell you. When talking about nature being able to swipe my life away from me, I do get a little sissy there, I suppose. I will respect that in a way that's like, no, but I don't want to. I will, for sure. I went to Louisiana more than once, twice as a matter of fact it was. That's more than once. And we took those, like, what do they call it? Not jet boats, but like the big fan boat. And we went through the bayou and did all of that. It was awesome. And seeing the crocodiles in there, or whatever they are, in their environment, it was the true definition of the word awesome, where it's like, whoa, right? But it was hard to enjoy it, because all I thought about is, this guy looks like he runs the tilt-a-whirl at the county fair, and if he flips this boat right now, I'm never going to be heard from ever again, right? It's like, it was impossible to enjoy that. I did not like that. It was fun. I did not like it. It's right. It was like one of those things. So yes, if you go swimming in the water, but like gardening in your backyard, if we're going to talk about like walking by it, like some people in Florida walk out in the backyard and they have alligators in their swimming pool and they end up getting attacked. What human risk behavior was that? I'm sorry, living. Now see, here's the thing. That's why you can't leave it up to the animal people. What are the animal people going to tell you? You and I think, dude, get them out of the pool, right? Bought the house, bought the pool, get them out of there. What the animal person thinks is, well, that's what you get. The answer thinks it's about swimming in their bodies of water. You don't understand. It's their land,
$15 order coming up
and that's
here.
what they're going to tell you, is don't build houses.
Package pickup.
Now, that sounds like you're being too judgmental about it. Okay, now let's make it California. Coastal erosion or earthquakes.
Turn left on South Broadway Street.
Or something like that. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I shouldn't live there, right? It's kind of like, well, then where am I supposed to live? Can't live there because the gator's going to take me into the swamp and murder me. Can't live there because, I don't know, my house is going to fall off into the... Oh, that's where you're supposed to live, right here in Ohio.
The Stansberry Show.
I just want to say I listen to your show all the time, and I really, really hate you.
On Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the program. I do need to ask for a little forgiveness here. I made a pretty critical error for a broadcaster. This is,
Using the right lane, make a slight right turn on Graff Road Southeast.
the fact that we were going to talk Shannon Sharp next hour here on the program. And there is a lawsuit. He has not been officially charged. And a woman is, he is listed in a lawsuit. Tony Busby, the lawyer. But he has not been officially charged. And I had misspoke there. I apologize about that.
In a quarter-mile, turn right on Winspear Drive Southeast.
So we'll get into the Shannon Sharp situation. And we'll do that next hour here. You know, I say it all the time that I don't always decide what we talk about. Sometimes, like...
Turn right on Winspear Drive Southeast.
Well, society just decides.
In a quarter-mile, pick up on the left.
News decides. You know? And this would be one of those.
Oh, shit.
I would imagine a lot of you have already heard this story by now. It's been linked, by the way, at my Facebook, The Stansberry Show, since yesterday. But a 19-year-old woman now accused of, and that's how she's listed here, 19-year-old woman. Now, we kind of talk about what that really means and when it doesn't. Normally, when you're in trouble, we start thinking of you more as an adult. If you haven't done anything yet, we wouldn't call a 19-year-old an adult. Once you've done something, that view will change. But she's accused now of assaulting an 11-year-old girl. This at Stark Wayne Schrader Park. She also threatened the girl's
Pick up on the left.
mother too. Allegedly, CanRep.com is where I pulled it. She had been slamming the 11-year-old girl's head repeatedly onto a metal platform. This on playground equipment. Again, Schrader Park, 1800 Stark. The police report says the suspect. She says the victim had slapped her in the face first, and so everything that happened after was like was a real.
Hi, I've got a Uber pickup for Marla T.
Do you have the order number or anything?
Yeah, I believe this is it. 300.
Hold on. All right, 300
9011 132 5167 8564-2. Oh, 2 items. Never mind.
Yeah.
4 was the final number.
All right, can you just pull up right over here and right in the out front of the forklift, and I'm going to go and see what we're getting.
How big are these items?
What exactly is it?
Cold water, electric pressure washer.
Pressure washer?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that bad then.
Okay. All right.
Engaged. Right? Because how could it not? I've said before, as a guy who has warred with other radio shows and listeners and stuff, you can say a lot of things about people. Once you bring their kids into it, man, what happens after that is you just never know what can happen. And so you just try to leave that off the table. It's just, you just do that, right? So reportedly now, the victim's mother now charges at the 19-year-old and tried to physically assault her. On Stones, by the way, there's a physical aspect of this. And now on top of that, after that, so now you're running you're a race car in the red light at that point, right? I don't care who you are, the most common sense person listening to me, the highest member of society, you got a couple of judges out there, I don't care. You are going to be in a different state here, right? And now somebody tells you, I hope that kid died. I'm sorry, you're charging at that kid. I'm sorry. You just are. So that part, again, believable. Now, 2 police officers there, like, right? So they stop that. The child's mother, 34. She's been charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing official business. That's a misdemeanor of the 2nd degree. Now, if you'll allow some speculation, and I've been wrong a couple of times about a handful of things. If we end up finding out that the 19-year-old is the aggressor, look for the mother's charges to get dropped. The disorderly conduct, I'm sorry, I temporarily kind of lost my mind a little bit and went at, again, a 19-year-old, technically under the letter of the law, an adult now. I charged at one of those after telling me they hope my child dies. I think that we may find that charge like, yeah. I'm going to, again, speculate. I have no idea. No idea. Scheduled to be arraigned on the 2nd of May. Both women, by the way, live less than a quarter of a mile from the park and a 1/10 of a mile from one another. So get out on bond, and now all of a sudden we're living in close proximity. Like, that's going to be, I would imagine. And we know, like I say about Canton overall, that this is a small town. And because of it, it's one of the things to love about it, is that. It's a little bit more tight-knit. That's great. Most people would tell you in America, you're losing that too often. And here we are with a ton of it. And that's true of the city overall. But then once you start getting into neighborhoods, you know how it is. Some of you have been in Market Heights since 1972, right? See, and like, right? And so, like, come on, man. Like, this is one of those things. This is the story. There's no bigger TMZ thing that's gonna happen on this street. Like, this is it. And so it's all eyes on you. And when something happens like this, you hate every. This is how it feels in McCoy style. Because you think you're just mad at that 19-year-old who did this to your daughter. You hate everybody in that damn bloodline now. Like, this will be visceral. I mean, just absolutely horrific. I don't know. I mean, just, I don't, again, the 19-year-old claimant, the 11-year-old smacked them in the face first. Her in the face first, I suppose. I don't know. Wasn't there. When you are 8 years older, and you have somebody by the hair and you are slamming their head. This is how this is being described here. Slamming their head into a metal plate associated with playground equipment. There's no slap in the face, I think, that is going to excuse that. Right? Like, there comes a part where defending yourself is defending yourself. I think you got to be real careful being 19 and hitting an 11-year-old no matter what's happening there. I think you got to be real careful there. Right? Meaning, what I'm meaning is, don't do it. Get on your bike, pedal away, right? Do that thing. It's asking a lot of humans, I get it. But if it's slap for slap, it's like, kids are kids, and like this are going to happen, and like, you know what I mean? It's like, everybody's got to find out where that line is. But once you're laying on top of somebody, taking them by the hair and slamming their head into the ground, and then telling somebody you hope that they die, that's evidence in a courtroom that's not going to go very well for you. Now, I am not defending this statement. But I will say, at 19, while being angry and not in control of my emotion, was I capable of saying things that I would never say today? Yeah. And that's probably true of you too. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel bad for this person. I'm not. But you mean to tell me when this 19-year-old is our age, they're not going to look back at that moment a lot like when we talk about situations from my life when I have and said, yeah, man, if I could have that one back, I want it back. Now, you could look at it that way and think about it that way if the head wasn't being slammed into the playground equipment. That's the part you can't look back.
The Stansberry Show.
Yeah, I hear that kind of obnoxious behavior is very big right now in the dangerous idiot community.
On Rock 106.9.
9 a.m., go fund yourself. That first $1,000 keyword gets passed out right here. Guardians win yesterday. That 6-4 over the Yanks at home. Progressive. 6:10 tonight they play again, 1:10 tomorrow, day game. And then Cavs game 2 tomorrow night, down at Rocket Arena. Thursday night, Rocket Arena. Monsters, their first home playoff game. Not ever. All right, right now. Gonna be busy up there this week. I mean, think about tomorrow. I mean, you got Yanks during the day. That's going to be a pretty heavily attended Guardians game, I would imagine. And then Cavs after that. Oof. Traffic. A little mess. A little bit of a mess with it there. You and I have been discussing this attack in Schrader Park. A 19-year-old, I believe, female arrested Friday. Charged with assault. And this involved a 11-year-old, a 19-year-old woman there accused of assaulting an 11-year-old, threatening the girl's mother as well. She was slamming the girl's head, allegedly, I should say, slamming the girl's head repeatedly onto a metal platform, this near playground equipment.
Alrighty.
This at Schrader Park, which is on Stark Avenue. I don't believe I've ever been, but I did pull up the park here. I do have some details about it because of some of the questions that you guys have sent me at the socials, the Stansbury Show. I'll address those here in a moment.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Says that the suspect claims that she was struck first, that the 11-year-old slapped her in the face first. So the 19-year-old was in jail.
Head to your drop-off at 589 School Street, Tuscarawas, O.
Yesterday, being held in Lewis and Bond there. Was arrested Friday on charges of assault, that a misdemeanor of the first degree, disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor of the fourth degree. And the disorderly conduct charge filed by police alleges that what had happened is while she was being arrested, she had threatened verbally the victim's mother. And it also had told, this alleges that while in handcuffs, told the victim's mother that she had hoped her daughter would die.
Just ahead, turn left on Mill Avenue Southeast.
At that time, of course, the victim's mother charges at the suspect in an attempt to physically assault her. 2 police officers
Turn left on Mill Avenue Southeast.
doing their job stop that from happening. Child's mother, 34 now, has been charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing official business. Cantonrep.com is where we're pulling this from. Both women live less than a quarter mile.
Just ahead, keep right onto Graff Road Southeast.
I live, from the park and about a 10th of a mile from one another. And so I can't.
Keep right onto Graff Road Southeast.
I imagine that is going to be smooth sailing. Okay. So, most of you have the reaction of the mother.
In a quarter mile, turn left on South Broadway Street using the left lane.
Hears, I hope your child dies, and run towards that person and tries to assault them, and you go, yeah. Like Kelly said, charged at her? Oh, you mean I tried to go over there and knock the stupid off of her face? Meaning that's how she would maybe handle that situation. Yeah.
Turn left on South Broadway Street.
I have seen, I've said, you got to be careful when invoking people's children. You have to be really careful. Talking about, but there's a woman I know who is angelic in every aspect of her life. She's like, when people tell you about nice people and a good person.
Just ahead, turn left on Commercial Avenue Southeast using the left lane.
That's who they mean. And she's a great mother. And you would never think, wouldn't harm.
Turn left on Commercial Avenue Southeast.
A soul. You mess with either one of them kids, man. And those claws come out. It's not like I did it, but like I'm saying, you mess with either one of them kids, those claws come out in a way that you don't think that nice-looking person, high member of society could. No, I'm telling you. Like I was like, oh, look, it's in there. Oh, for sure it is. Them cups, man. Like it's the way it is. So yeah, I could understand it. For sure, I can get it. As a matter of fact, I was at a park once with her kids, and the one was. He was little still. And he wanted to ride a slide. And like a kid who doesn't know any better, he was standing at the bottom of it, kind of looking up to see if anybody was up there, or it's, hey buddy, you gotta get. But some older kids had like dominated the slide and wouldn't let little kids ride it. Wouldn't go down it. And they were actually trying to slide down it as fast as they could to hit a little kid. And I gotta be honest with you, she did it. She had to stop. She's like, Dan, I was like, I'm not gonna hit him. She's like, are you sure? I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I won't. Right? And like, but like that, not even my kid. Let me tell you, telling you the story, I still get mad about it. Like, I don't, like, I'm saying, man, you gotta be careful when you do this. Now, the 19-year-old knew what she was saying, right? She knew. She's trying to make the mom mad. Temperature's still high. I'm being arrested. Now all of a sudden I think it's like a married guy going out. Like, I'm out of the house, so we're maxing out, right? Meaning, all right, I'm in the handcuffs. I'm in trouble already. We're maxing out. I'm going to get the most out of this situation. Stupid, foolish, yes, but I mean, come on, human nature. We are also talking about a 19-year-old. So I think, so I say this all the time. Reasons aren't excuses. Like, they're not. But they're reasons. And so I think most of you see it that way, and I could understand it. Absolutely could understand it. My mom was that way. Minister's wife, nice, like, but dude, if you met, and especially David, me, she was like, the second one doesn't really matter. The first one. Yeah, I mean, Dean will handle that idiot. You know what I mean? But like this, you know what I mean? But you mess with David? Suze, that was not. She fight you to the death. To the death. So you do gotta be careful. More than a few people said, this 19-year-old's at fault. I don't care what happened. You're 19. What are you doing at the park? All right. So I have taken that response more than a few times. I don't know Schrager Park from, a hole in the wall. Like, I don't know it. But I do have the internet. So I was able to look it up. Does that make me an expert in the park? It does not. But I have it pulled up here. CantonParksandRec.com. Stark Wayne Schrader. It will tell me that it is at 1801 Stark Avenue Southwest. And underneath that, it will tell me what the amenities are of said park. They are restrooms, okay? Probably a breeding ground for drug sales, but that's just me being a pessimist or a realist, depending on how you want to look at it there, but like, whatever. Probably a breeding ground for that. There is a playground. Now, we knew that because the story at CantonRep.com tells us that the 19-year-old is accused of slamming the 11-year-old's head off of playground equipment. But also listed. Now, this is at the website here, and you know what I mean? I don't know about, local municipalities and like keeping up with the equipment and what's actually there versus what's at the site. But it tells me here that there are basketball courts at this park. So I understand if you're thinking about riding the swings, 19-year-old and 11-year-old, like that's not, this 16-year-old can't play in a basketball court in the park. America is officially off its rails.
The Stansberry Show.
Every time I see him, I hear circus music.
On Rock 106.9.
Next hour, take a look at the accusations surrounding Shannon Sharp. Woman filing a lawsuit, no official charges as of yet. We will get to that. We had talked about this local story here, a 19-year-old arrested for assaulting an 11-year-old. Now, she claims that the 11-year-old had assaulted her first, slapping her in the face. Accused, there is some video out there, but she's been accused, that's where we stand officially, of slamming this 11-year-old's head off of a metal plate around some playground equipment, and while being arrested, screaming at the victim's mother and telling her that she had hopes her child dies. The mother charges at her. And I have linked this story from CantonRep.com at my Facebook, and I did that yesterday. And I apologize. More than a few people have mentioned this, and I don't think you're really taking an issue with me, but it's, I posted that without realizing it is behind a paywall, meaning, the repository. It will require you to be a member of the site and be a paid member of that site in order to obtain that information. Now, the radio station and this organization pays for access to that site. It does. I had forgotten that those login credentials so many times that I have created my own paid account, and I do. So sometimes I forget when I link some of their content that it may be behind a paywall for you. I apologize on that. It's just something I had forgotten. A lot of times they will allow you to read X amount of articles per month, and then they'll paywall something sometimes when they realize they might have something, depending on the industry, or not industry, or what the situation may be. I honestly don't know how they evaluate. But I do kind of want to address. This is another one of my shopping cart things. But I don't like when people don't take the shopping cart back to the corral in the parking lot. I don't like when people complain about having to pay for access to things, especially information. I don't remember, now maybe it happened, anybody walking by the Plain Dealer newspaper box and screaming bloody murder at it. Or complaining about... Now, were there people who would wait for you to buy a paper, slam their hand into it to get their 75-cent paper for free?
In a quarter-mile, turn left on School Street Southeast.
Yeah. Is news and information better now than it was when you were a kid? Or worse? Okay. Do you think removing the money that's made, you know, how they pay salaries of people who are actually really good at what they do you believe removing that money from that
Turn left on School Street Southeast
helped accelerate the problem to be better or worse? We know the answer to this. Has music gotten better or worse when you could just access it for free? Have movies gotten better or worse when you could just steal everything for free? You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but news could use all the salaries it could get its hands on. Now, is me paying $1 a month, by the way, I think it is, to access can'trep.com. I'm sorry, is it $12 a year? It's something crazy like that. It's like $1 a month for me to know what's happening here. Now, yes, it's a newspaper, so to know what happened 3 days ago. But, like, I mean, fair enough. But there's a web component to that, obviously. That one always baffles me, man. I'm sorry, it just does. It just does, because we made things worse. Now, the industry also helped make it worse, because what happened is entertainment companies started to buy the news companies, and they started to use their entertainment producers versus their news producers, and realized we can pay the entertainment producers less than we can pay the news producers. And it really is television and presentation, so it kind of is entertainment anyway, so we can do this. Yeah, that all happened too. But definitely made easier when less money was being made.
In a quarter-mile, drop off on the left.
It's just the reality of it. This is another example of what I'm always talking about with you. Why is what you do worth so much money? Is it because you do it? Is it because your children rely on you to put food on the table because of it? Is that what makes it valuable? Because most people listening to me don't think what you do is valuable at all. I got a news flash for you. Most of them don't think what I do is valuable.
Drop off on the left.
And consume it every day. But don't think I should make the money I make. Easy, sitting down, sissy ass, whatever, right? Those people exist. Now, plenty of you like it and think I should probably make more money and be like, dude, I don't know why they keep screwing with you. I don't know about more money, but dude, being able to play his audio might be all right, right? Like, yeah, of course, those people exist too. But plenty of people think what I do is worth absolutely not one thing. No money. That's what most of them think about what you do too. I don't, so that's what I'm saying. I've said it a million times. If I brought you in here and interviewed you, you would make a great case on why your job's worth probably 3 times what you make. If I go to that phone, $5. I mean, my favorite example ever is albums. And you know what I've always said is, $15 for an album and 3 songs is good. And I've looked down my nose at those people and said, are you telling me Free Fallin' isn't worth $5? And you know what? Sometimes people will push back and tell me, you're fibbing here. You're moving this to where you win the argument. It's not 3 songs are good, 1 are good. Well, I don't know. Let's maybe check the averages. Flip over the cover of Back to Black, Back in Black, and tell me how many are good on that one. I got news for you. It's so many that casual AC/DC fans think that's their greatest hits record. It isn't. It was just the album they put out after their original singer died. Oh, just that one that they knocked out of the park. Every song's good. $15? So again, I'll use your math though. $15 for an album and the one song you like is really, really good. I still think my argument holds up. I always say great songs aren't worth $5, to which I'll say now in an inflation world, great songs aren't worth $15. You danced to it at your wedding. You cried when your kid graduated walking across the stage. Somebody made that. And they're worth the money because they made it. Somebody walked in that neighborhood you won't drive through with your windows rolled down in to find this story and get it at can'trep.com for you. I'm sorry, that's not worth $12 a year?
The Stansberry Show.
What's up with this guy's voice? It sounds like a monster.
On Rock 106.9.
9 a.m. Go fund yourself, pick up that first $1,000 keyword. We will pass those out till 5 p.m. this afternoon. And Edge of 17 on the station, it's one of those songs. I say it all the time. It's not necessarily about year, something when it got released, or it could be a sonic thing, it could be a sonically thing. And that is 1981 that song comes out, I believe, and still polar. Half my mentions, dude, Edge of 17, kind of dig that, like that, more of that, like this, right? A few of you others, oh, Stansberry, what are you on the rape? They got a lot of, he's on his period. All right, so here's the thing, people ask me about this all the time. They give me more musically than I need. And then what happens there is I'm kind of trusted then to be like, do kind of maneuver it where you want it. Don't go too crazy, but yeah, there's more at the end of the hour. If you want to swap something out, swap it out, and like this and that, especially over top of the hour, it's like, all right, kind of, move this there, move that there. Kind of have right of first refusal. So yeah, I saw Edge of 17. I was like, we can make sure that one rolls today, right? I know both the industry and occasionally this shift can get a little like, heard it, dude, heard it, right? So like, I always saw it, a little different. Don't always hear that one there, so I was like, hey, you know what, we're rolling that one today. I love Stevie. Yeah, Edge of 17. I defend it. All right. Read this yesterday. Pro Football Hall of Famer. Now, really what he is now is a media personality. Shannon Sharpe. I mean, he's at ESPN. He's got his own podcast. I mean, this guy, he's got a lot going on. And now facing a lawsuit. He's being accused of sexual assault and battery. Apparently, this is also now he is being accused of engaging in the intentional infliction of emotional distress. I don't know if I like the sound of that sentence. Because facing a lawsuit accused of sexual assault and battery, I do not believe that I could maybe ever find myself facing that charge. Engaging in the intentional infliction of emotional distress, that's getting a little closer to what Stansberry might be able to be guilty of. I don't know if I like reading that one. The lawsuit filed now. This in Clark County, Nevada, otherwise known as the Las Vegas area, obtained by USA Today Sports. And this woman's only at this point listed as Jane Doe. Now, if you know Shannon, it will not be all that difficult to track her name down. And the reason why is because they were in a relationship together, apparently 2 years. She does claim it started as a rocky, consensual relationship. Now, again, that's a broad term. That's a broad, phrase to describe it. I would imagine if you have dated more than, let's say, 3-4 people in your life, and plenty of you have, that a rocky, consensual relationship once or twice is probably in the wake of your life. I know for sure I can look back and be like, yeah, that one might have been one of those. Hey, look at that. There's another one laying around right there. Like, not real hard to find those in my life. The woman now seeking $50 million in damages. Here's how she claims this all goes down. She meets him, right? They're in a gym. 2023. She's 19. And he then 56. Apparently he has now sexually assaulted her twice. Once in October 2024 and again in January of 2025. But does claim that the relationship started out as a consensual thing. Now, Sharpe's attorney, this is Lanny Davis, called it a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. Now, the woman says that Shannon became violent over the course of the relationship. He threatened to kill her during one incident and recorded their sexual encounters without her consent. Okay. Do I believe a man filmed a woman having sex with him And she maybe did not know that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I am willing to bet that is more common than I would want to admit or anybody else. Now, it's also very common of like, hey man, I got my phone right here. You mind doing that? No. That's common too. You know. Threaten to kill somebody, man, I just, you read that phrase. This will sound like I'm making excuses. But when you read that phrase, it sounds like, oh my God, threaten to kill. And we are cavalier with language. It is my currency. And I am still cavalier. At home, where I shouldn't be. And wouldn't you know it, even though it is my currency, I can be cavalier with it in here, which really shouldn't be. But I do it. People have written to me, I'm going to kill you. There have been times where I have read a message and I felt to myself, it's time to get somebody involved. We need to get an iHeart lawyer to look at this. That has happened. I will say, most of the times it has been said to me, I said, this person's just kind of mad in traffic. Now, sometimes those happen, and somebody ends up doing it. So you do kind of have to take the phrase seriously. I'm not saying that, but now they were only together 2 years. Some of you have been married a long, long time, man. Never once have you said it? Now, there are people who just don't talk this way. And then there are people who are like me. And everything's about language. So when I'm happy, I will use this type. And when I am angry, I will use this type. And because it's how I express. It's how I act out. Shannon, a pretty big trash talker on the fields. I don't know what making him the media personality is today. I don't. If you tell me this guy said this thing and it's not, he was going to kill her, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not. He, of course, now is being accused of becoming violent over the course of the relationship. And I would imagine most women who have been in a relationship with a violent man will tell you, well, it wasn't the first night. Sometimes, sure, but it wasn't the first night. I pull you in. The next thing you know, you're comfortable. And, behavior starts to change. And before you know it, it's like, how the hell did I get trapped into this? Okay. I'm not crazy. I'll meet you there. He flew into fits of anger when she would point out infidelity or called him about his, out of relationship activities. What had once been manipulation, control, and intimidation now became something far more dangerous and sinister. He figured out how to get into her apartment complex without her permission. Again, Shannon Sharp accused of sexually assault and rape of this woman more than on one occasion. And this, again, started out as a consensual relationship moving into another territory. At least that's what the accusations are. I shall tell you that she is represented by Tony Busby. That is a lawyer's name who you will recognize. It is the lawyer who is representing the women who have been accusing Deshaun Watson of being sexually inappropriate with them. This woman in this lawsuit is only listed as Jane Doe at this point. But again, if you know Shannon, you follow Shannon, you've been watching Club Shay Shay and the like, it's not going to be all that hard to figure out who she is. Apparently, Sharp made it clear that Jane Doe wanted was no moment that he would get what he wanted. I don't know what. Sharp made it clear what Doe wanted was of no moment that he would get what he wanted when he wanted it. That in October 2024, violently sexually assaulted her is the accusation. 2 separate occasions. Once in Vegas, ignoring her request to stop. And again, dude, you can rape your girlfriend, you can rape your wife. I know there's somewhere there's a cretin who doesn't think it. It's all right, come on, do raping the wife, like how right on the bench seat on the way to the job site. I get it, but like, come on, dude. In reality, we know you can do that. Let's not get lost in the sauce. Jane Doe, represented again by Tony Busby, Mike and Nash too. All right, so there's a little bit to unpack here. We'll get to Shannon's statement a little later, but here's what I find interesting. Of course, we will have the, oh, why didn't she? And it's like, well, it was only 2024. I mean, like, let's not get too carried away. So there's that. But we'll get a lot of, we don't believe her. and it's a shakedown, and it's this. But I will say there will also be a large constituent of NFL fans who now, because accused, lawsuit out there, will believe he did it, no matter what. And why I think it's even more interesting that is of that. Something happened with Shannon Sharpe that's not mentioned in any of these stories. A few months ago, maybe a little longer, there was an audio tape leaked of Shannon Sharpe, and I mean absolutely tearing through some ass. I mean, bro, like made men go, well, that's why I get to play in the pros, I suppose. Right? Like just got you by audio. I mean, he was hammering. And what was funny about that is that the reason that people believe that got leaked on purpose was because before that, the hot story all over the internet was that Shannon Sharpe was secretly gay. And people were starting to figure it out. And so here comes the audio. No, I'm not, because look, I can do this. Bisexuality is a thing, but like, there's this Shannon Sharpe sexuality thing. This is an onion. This isn't one layer. Like, there's a lot unfolding all at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but like the timeline of this is getting pretty interesting. The thing about these accusations with people is this. I always tell you that Shannon Sharpe, the host of Club Shay Shay, doesn't really exist. It's a creation in our mind. Shannon Sharpe, the kid who grew up on blah, blah, blah street, who is a human being, who is absolutely capable of other awful things that human beings are capable of, that dude, for sure, 1,000% does exist. So I'll never just be like, there's zero chance that he did it. There are times where I will believe it less than others, of course. This is why when the whole movement got kicked off, and people said, believe all women, and I said, nice try to get that puck by the goal. If I said, believe all men, I would, see? You can't even get it out your mouth. No, listen to all women. And then reasonably believe the stories that are believed. And look into them all. Listen to them all, look into them all, absolutely. Believe them all, that's ridiculous, and we know it. 1,000% ridiculous. But will I dismiss this just because he's rich and just because somebody wants money? No, those stories are out there too, but it doesn't mean a guy can't be a guy.
The Stansberry Show.
You have to recognize that one of his greatest strengths is his 1/2 hour, and you'll go fund yourself. That first $1,000 keyword passed out on Tuesday. Cavaliers, game 2 tomorrow, that'll happen. Cavs with a 1-0 lead after winning Monday night. NFL draft Thursday, busy week. Monsters, playoff game Thursday. That'll rock an arena. Oh, by the way, Yankees in town. Cards win yesterday. Yeah, 6-4 at home. Playing later this evening, 6-10. You and I had talked a little Shannon Sharpe. Accused. Lawsuit. Woman says the relationship started out as consensual and then he had sexually assaulted her on more than one occasion. It was 2 occasions. Lanny J. Davis, the lawyer for Mr. Sharpe, says, quote, Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape. He will not submit to what he sees an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law. Lanny J. Davis via social media there. According to the lawsuit, I'm pulling from LA Times now, he and his accuser met at a Los Angeles gym. He's 54. Now, this article says she was 20. Polling earlier from the New York Post, they had her at 19. You know, you take that for what you will there. I probably am going to go with the LA Times over the New York Post. That might be my judgmental view there. Which he incessantly pursued her for a couple of weeks before they started a rocky consensual relationship. Now when you start lawyering things up, and it is, all right, hold on, I want to see this again. Incessantly pursued her. I picked up on that girl wants to start off a little. Come on, girl. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of that, and you can talk about 54 and 20, right? All right, like, it's, well, first, like, where are you an adult with sex and where are you not? It gets strange. The whole what do you have in common? Well, probably mostly just to get the demon out, meaning a little horny, is probably mostly all you have in common. Right? The same Charlie X on Road Tour, whatever the hell it is. I mean, come on, we know a little bit. But, as I'm always on the guy that's like 16 is the age of consent, like, that guy worries. The guy that's, going around the holiday party with, with the leaf above his head, like, gotta kiss me, Alfred, like the mistletoe moron, that guy. I worry about that guy. The guy that hugs your wife a little too long when you walk into the dinner party, that guy, I don't like that guy. 54 and 20 is probably closer to that guy than you think you are, and you might be right about that, but, like, I don't think it's the same. I understand the 54-year-old man looking to capture some of his youth by the hot 20-year-old lady. And I definitely understand the young 20-year-old lady looking to get some heat and, like, this is awesome. And, like, the life people tell you should want as an American by proximity. And all I have to do is take these clothes off and do tricks for this dude. Not all that difficult, right? Like, let's be honest, not necessarily the hardest thing in the world to be doing. And so I see how this happens. For sure. Absolutely. The lawsuit alleges that what happened, though, is he becomes controlling, manipulative. And over time, she discovers that he became extremely emotional, possessed, and an uncontrollable temper. I believe it. What am I going to do? Sit here as a person who has told you has anger issues, has told you that there are text messages that I have said that I have written to somebody I cared about a great deal, that I wish I didn't. That I didn't mean. But in that moment, I'm feeling less than, as now I shall hurt you. And this is the only weapon I got. Pretty good one. It fires fast, but it's the only weapon I got. I am not trying to defend Shannon Sharpe. That's not what I'm saying to you. But I believe worse if I'm, and on some level it kind of is, but like a statement I have made in my life, more than one time, more than one era of my life. Do you understand I won't even listen to what that person says to get mad about this? That we're involved in this. And the situation is different. You have access to levers they do not have. You can pull anger from me. That cannot be done. But, like, that is I should ultimately still supposed to be in control of it, right? But do I understand how, while being in a relationship with a person, how they can do that to you, but the clerk at 7-Eleven cannot? Well, yes. Yes. Now, when you get to sexual assault and rape, I'm sorry, man, I got nothing on that one. I can talk to you about the shortcomings I have and see and hear and relate there and go, well, yeah, I can get how you can get to that. Made that mistake. But, like, when it comes to the sexual assault and rape, I don't have any understanding of that. Because that's not, or, like, when you get to the part where, like, they beat the, and I'm like, what the hell? Because, like I just said, right, this is the only weapon I have. It fires quick, and it's pretty good. But it is the only weapon I will use. Doesn't make it great. Like, right, that's not what I'm saying. But, like, I lose the sense of, like, how did we get to that other end of it? Because I just don't get it. There is no relating that for me. Now, Shannon Sharpe, while also trying to defend himself, and this is his legal team, have released some text messages. Whew. Spicy. Next.
The Stansberry Show.
I'm being sung by a society that demands success when all I can offer is faith.
On Rock 106.9.
The Stansberry Show on our socials to reach out. As we've been talking Shannon Sharpe. There's a lawsuit now been filed. The lawyer in question is Tony Busby, who represents the women who have accused Deshaun Watson, and now will be representing Jane Doe is how this woman is listed. It started out, she does claim, as a consensual relationship between her and Shannon Sharpe, and then he sexually assaulted and raped her on more than, it was 2 occasions, once in October of 2024. And now, Shannon Sharpe's legal team categorically denies, is the quote, all of these allegations. Ready for the legal fight, Lanny J. Davis had said. That's Shannon Sharpe's attorney. Pointing to alleged texts they have as proof that Shannon did not do anything wrong. Now, I also read this morning that Shannon Sharpe, the plan is to have him on television this morning, and it will not be addressed. That, people are surprised by, that is old school broadcasting. Like, we're not apologizing for anything until, like, it's kind of the way it was. Right now, it's because you knew less back then, because there were less, just less outlets covering it. But that, I'm becoming less and less surprised that's going to be the move by the networks these days. Davis, his lawyer, said Sharpe and the accuser did have consensual sex that until January 2nd this year, the day after she allegedly asked for $25,000 per, I guess, ass cheek in a message. Quote, I know you miss this big juicy ass. $25,000 for each cheek, she allegedly wrote. According to apparently over 44 pages of texts. All right, I just suffered one of these embarrassments. Sexting and talking about it and scenarios and fantasy, and I need to get this out before I go to bed, and I got to get up at 4. And come on, now I'm probably filthier than a lot of you and a little bit more, hedonistic maybe. You're the best blasphemer and heathen I've ever seen, Dean used to say. So, all right, fair enough. And come on, right? Things you wouldn't say in public. Same thing. Right, there's a similar thing. Apparently, other adult-only texts include when she allegedly texted Sharpe a photo of a woman tied up in a very, what they call here, a compromising situation and position, and wrote this on March 5th back in 2023, tie me up like this and, you know the word, me. Sharpe replying, and this is a dude who's media savvy for sure, 1000%. This is dodgy as hell, giving myself the plausibility here. Sharpe replying to that. If I knew how to, I would. Oh, I like it. I don't even like that kind of behavior. I don't even know how to do it. Oh, Shannon. That is smart there, my man. Or I am so jaded and pessimistic towards the world that maybe I just think that but come on, I heard the audio. There was an audio tape of him, literally, dude, it sounded like he was putting that poor woman through the other side of the mattress. And so, which is a phrase I like using a lot. And he, because I'm not capable of doing it, for crying out loud. And so, but I heard the tapes, man. He can tie a woman up and hit it. Dude, for sure he can. I heard it, right? So, that could be a thing. She allegedly wrote back, it's okay, I have handcuffs, we can stick to those for now. And come on, dude. Handcuffs? If you're talking about kinky sex, that's not, if we're talking spectrums of kinky sex, that's in the shallow end of the pool, right? If handcuffs weren't shallow end of the pool, kink sex-wise, I don't even think we would have, sex stores or, normal people walking in and out of them, right? It would just be the fat freaks. But real people walk in and out of those places too, right? And it's because handcuffs are at the shallow end of the pool of kinky sex. That's why we have those establishments. You know what? Dude, you guys got lube in the end table? I don't know why I'm dancing around it. You know what I mean? Come on, we know this. I don't know, man. They apparently exchanged kinky messages. This again on January 31st. She allegedly wrote to him, that just got my, well. Oh, I guess you guys don't like the M word. I guess we can go with damp there. Tie me up and do bad things to me. Which Sharp then wrote, cuff up. Now, I don't know all of the things, I guess. I don't know it. Cuff up. Now, I thought, really, to furnish with, to handcuff someone. Okay, I was just trying to make sure it wasn't like slang for like lady, like my chickens here, you got tied this up. Like I was trying to make sure it wasn't like telling her to pipe down a little bit. I don't know, right? I don't know all the things. I'm old. Well, I'm younger than Shannon is, but like, you know, I live in the real world, so I'm old, right? She wrote back, you still have my handcuffs. I want some hardcore BDMS action though, and I'm kind of feeling freaky lately. She additionally wrote, I want to be abused. Oh, I don't like this word in sex. I have a hang-up about this one. Daddy, I don't like it. Clean it up, please. Come on. I know you have daddy issues. We did cocaine and you're bent over my bed. The daddy issues are apparent, right? Don't call me daddy. I am almost 50. The insurrection is like, it's iffy, lady. Like, what did we do? Give me something to work with here. Yeah, I don't like that word, man. I got hang-ups on that one. You guys do what you want out there. She wrote back, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're... Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah, okay, all right. They also talked about her desire to have a baby with him, including allegedly writing, only if you put that baby... I feel like if I use this phrase, just using it casually on the show one morning, I would be accused of toxic masculinity. But this woman says here, only if you put that baby gravy in me. Good God, this woman. Then you can do whatever you want to me. Now that does kind of sound like, oh, once I get my baby, I'm good, right? Like, then you're cuffed up for real, Shannon.
The Stansberry Show. Well, I'm not very good, but I play loud. On Rock 106.9.
He was the most hated man in America. And then Kanye came along. Thanks a lot, Kanye.
The Stansberry Show. On Rock 106.9.
Well, maybe should have held that imaging piece until we talk about Kanye. I'm trying to get to that. But Shannon Sharp has dominated such a large portion of the program this morning of being accused of sexual assault and rape. We had read through some text messages that his legal team has put out in his defense. She kind of suggests that for some payment that he could do some stuff to her. Now, she claims they started out as a consensual relationship. And then, he became emotionally unstable and controlling and manipulative. And I'm willing to bet there are more than a few women listening to me all morning who say, well, dude, that happens. Like, I met a guy, thought he was the nicest dude in the world. And then next thing you know, he's like, no, that's what the hot guy's doing. Like, that's what he's doing. I've heard celebrities that I didn't have. And notoriety. I mean, by the way, not even notoriety. I can't tell you how many you are. The more money you have, the more access you have to things like that. And it can kind of start like that. I can see it. I can see it. I'm being called a prude in this now. In her text message, now this is just a preference, but in her text messages, she had called him more than one time daddy. Now, maybe it's the hang-ups I have about my dad. I guess maybe, I don't know. Once anything parent related, I'm probably not going to want it in my bedroom a whole lot. You know? It's just, that's my thing. You'd be surprised how many people are calling, what are you, a prude? Somebody said to me, wait a minute, hold on. You get caught sexting by accident the other night. A coworker, not even a coworker, a supervisor, by the way. Luckily, it was a man. That could have been real bad for your boy had that been a woman. Like, oof. Because I don't think people would have believed I did it by accident at that point. And judged by who you were leading up to that moment, there's a lot of audio of me, man. And I mean a lot. And so, like, I don't know about that one. That one gets straight. But but again, like people are all on me because like, dude, like, come on, man, like that word's pretty. Because I had called handcuffs like the shallow end of the pool of kink, and I believe that they are. And people are saying to me, well, Daddy's in the shallow end of the pool of words. Okay, there's going. Again, I should say here, I'm not necessarily a super kinky person. As a matter of fact, there was a woman I slept with in this town years ago now who said, oh, this was very enjoyable. I had a great night. I did expect this to be crazier. I was like, what? She's like, well, you're loud and abrasive and like, she's like, you're a little nice. It's like, come on, man. Like, I know. I mean, you should have seen me. You had to come find me 15 years ago for that. Like, I'm like, right? And so like, just get out of here, right? Like, but like that did kind of happen where I was like, I maybe phoned it in a little because I don't really care, and like there was a little bit of that. But yeah, I think I'm not necessarily as swinging from the chandelier, like crazy as people think. I've said this a million times. There's 4 things I like, and I just need you to do them, and I mean a lot. But other than that, I'm not. Yeah, I am a little. I don't know if it's prude. I don't know. The daddy word freaks me out, man. Like it does. I start thinking about bloodlines and family trees and cookouts and all kinds of stuff. It's like we're trying to do something in here, man. Like we're trying to get this accomplished. I don't like anything family was. How dumb do you feel? And well, pretty dumb. Again, when you sext a boss by accident, thank God it was not a photo. It was